Hi guys. Sprinkle, sprinkle. How are y'all today? I gotta go live today. It's Easter, and I don't really celebrate Easter like most people do. So I kind of just went to the movies and watched a good movie and relaxed most of the day. So I just wanted to come live with you guys and say hi and talk about some things that a lot of people have been asking me about or have been DMing me about or asking about. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this topic for you guys. Spiritual love versus physical love. Some people believe that they need a partner that they can have both with, or um, they can't be together. And some people don't think that they should at all. And then some people think that they should have two separate um, ways of having a connection with people. So if you don't have the same spiritual belief system, or if you don't have the same spiritual beliefs, because you grew or you have a new way of thinking, and your partner or your husband does not, then sometimes you're not going to be able to have both the spiritual and the physical type of relationship that you may or may not want. Okay. So sometimes that's what happens, and you probably are going to, because I know a lot of people have done this. So many people. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. So many people have done this. They've done it with me. They've done it with several other people that are online. And a lot of people feel like that they can't connect spiritually with someone close to them, so they try to connect spiritually with someone else. And this is normal. I think a lot of people do this and they don't realize that um, sometimes it's best for you to really figure out if that's what you want from other people, or should you look for that within yourself. Okay. I think we should look for that within ourselves. If other people would like to add to our spiritual path or our spiritual beliefs, or share or exchange information, that's wonderful, that's great. But at the same time, you should not expect everything from everyone. Sometimes things come in different packages. And of course, that's why you have to be able to know which package is which. You can't, and I always talk about this on my relationship channel. Like your man, your husband, your wife, or your whatever is not going to be your best friend. You can't talk about girl stuff with your husband all the time, because he don't want to hear it. He wants to do whatever he wants to do. That's for your sister or your friend or your you know your girl from high school or whatever. That's not for him to discuss. So you're not supposed to share everything with everyone and treat them like everyone is going to have all the answers for you, or all the things that you want within one person. It's very stressful on people who don't follow the same things that you do. Okay. Um. Hey. So just make sure that you realize that, and once you do, it'll take a lot of stress off of you and whoever you're with, and allow you to kind of mm, want to get to know different people for different reasons. Okay. Instead of always trying to put everything on one person. That's the best thing. I think that's the best way to do that. Okay. Um. mhm, mhm. So a lot of people have always told me or asked me, like, what if my partner does not have the same spiritual belief system as I do? Should I hold out and da 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 da? Well, that's up to you. Some people hold out, some people don't. Some people come to their spiritual identity much later on, after they've been with someone for a while. So it definitely is up to you. And I think everyone knows the best way to go. I think it's instinctual. It's inside you, and you know, and so you should just follow that. Um, what is spiritual love? A spiritual love is the best thing I can um, describe that as is someone who takes the time to really make sure that you understand them spiritually, you know, and that you're comfortable um, spiritually in a, in an exchange or a relationship spiritually. I think that's what it is. Because think about it. A lot of people have spiritual love because they agree on the same thing, believe in the same thing, or learn about the same type of things at the same time with each other, or um, teaching versus learning. It's that type of thing. Mhm. I don't think it's twin souls. What I think it is more like it's kind of like you and a person that you kind of want to get on a path, or a person you kind of want to help out because you see their potential, or a person that you want to protect, or a person like it could be one of your children, of course. Okay, I want to show you the way, I want to teach you the correct way, but at the same time I want to protect you at the same time. Da, 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 and I want to teach you the rules. Da, da, da. So it's kind of like that. It's not anything um other than that, unless you want it to be and it is appropriate for it to be. Thank you. You said sprinkle, sprinkle earlier. So, for example, if it's between like children, then of course it's going to be that type of relationship. If it's between friends, it's going to be that type of relationship. If it's between someone like a man and a woman, then it could possibly become that relationship. But at the same time, you have to be very aware of what you want these to type of spiritual relationships to turn into, by how you talk to the person, by how you react to the person, by all these type of things. So and you both have to be with the same mentality, and you both have to know what it is each other are communicating. And when you're able to do that, then everything's fine. Hmm. um You said you love romantic relationships or movies, but don't believe in true love. Romantic love is conditional. I Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, it doesn't mean, like I always talk about this on my other channel. At the same time, it doesn't mean that you don't or you shouldn't be able to experience those things, or the attempt of those things, because that's where most people will find out the truth. Otherwise you'll never know. Yeah, so always make sure that you and that person, that whoever you're spiritually or physically um, with, are on the same accord, or on the same um, level of communication. Am I part of the occult too? I think everything is part of the occult at this point in time. Like everything. You can't escape it, baby. It's basically anything you touch is part of, quote unquote, the occult. Okay, so getting past that. But I am not talking in occult terms at this time. I'm just speaking, regular speech. Spiritual relationships seem so vulnerable. I don't know if I want that yet. If they are vulnerable, it is only because they are not both on the same line of communication. Okay, that's the best way that I can explain that. one may know this and one may not know this. Sometimes people trick you or take advantage of you or assume that you know something that you may not know, blah, 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 blah. So I think maybe that is what most people are vulnerable about. And I think if you are vulnerable about those things, because you don't know any better, and maybe that's going to be a lesson for you or a way to learn and not repeat. And through those things you can teach other people and also um, learn and also refrain from doing those things yourself to others. Who am I spiritually bonded with? Myself and my children. uh, it's hard for me to have a partner who is not spiritual at all. Sharing both would be nice, but I respect. Yeah, yeah. That's very, yeah. Because sometimes you're not going to come to the same spiritual self when you first meet someone than when you've spent a long time learning about certain things. You could change your spiritual belief at any time. So it's kind of hard to say, because when you first meet someone, your spirituality may be totally different than it is 10 years from today. And if you're still with that person, then and you have grown in a separate way spiritually, then it's going to be a little bit different. Okay. So, a lot of people really want to have a relationship with somebody spiritually, because what I really think the goal would have been or would be was um, to be in the company or in a line of communication with someone who had a similar way of thinking, you know, so that you would feel or you would learn or you would gain certain knowledge and information from one another. That's when I really think a true spiritual relationship should be. But if it's not, then it should have been. You know what I mean? Okay. I totally agree. I believe someone on their own path journey. So depending on a spiritual connection entirely with a husband is kind of asking for much. Right. And also, if you have different beliefs, that would not probably work out for the best. Okay. hmm And you live and you learn, and I think at some point you figured out that the best teacher is yourself, and that you don't absolutely need a spiritual anything. What you need is to learn by the example of others and be motivated by others. Um, and so that's something that I learned, to be motivated, not, handicapped, or um, you're not dependent on another, or you're not allowing another person access to you in a certain way, for it to be perceived as being taken advantage of. So I believe that I would definitely have to be my best teacher on any type of spiritual path. Yeah, myself and my children, because I have to teach my kids, my real kids, the kids that came out of my body. Because a lot of people will try to pretend to be your kids. Okay. If that spiritual love is more unspoken or not, it just I think it just all depends, but it can be imagined, something like people can fantasize, but at the same time it's really up to you, and you give the permission. Yes, or you give the permission, because someone can't just 'Cause it's really up to you. You always say yes or no, and whatever you say goes within you with how it affects your life. Okay. For example, if my kids do not want to believe the same things that I do spiritually, I do give them that freedom not to believe anything that I talk about. They have the absolute freedom to create their own spiritual path because I don't want to be that person or that parent that forced someone to do something that they did not want to. So, I just did a She Was Seven video a little while ago, but it was for members only. You got to be a member. But I probably will do one a week for everyone on She Was Seven. But I just did a hour long members only video. If you sign up, you could probably get that video. It was just done. It was a live video, yeah. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Jazz the beauty. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Jazzy. Thank you, girl. Um. So for that other channel, just go to my channel on the there'll be a join button if you go on your laptop. I don't know if it's on the phone version. Yeah. Okay, so are we on my right channel? Okay. So also physical love with someone does not always equate to spiritual connection, especially mentally. It's not going to give you the mental satisfaction of a spiritual connection, even though it is a physical connection. So you can't really put one and two together. I think the best, I think the best way to think of it is if you could have the best of both worlds, then you would feel the spiritual as well as the physical, but you would not be lacking either way. So, for example, let's say you did meet someone that was spiritually and physically loving. For me, I would definitely think that you would become um, more competitive with each other. And this is why I always said that I did not want to be with someone long term that I was spiritually, you know, again, I can't think of the word, but aligned with, because it would turn into debates. It would turn into this is what I think and that's wrong. It would become competition. It would become, you know, masculine and feminine. And It would become that because spiritually, yeah, I believe that there's two different types. And I do feel like it is very, I do believe that it is a thing that is very alluring, but at the same time, not something that could be on a everyday basis. It would not work on a daily basis. You know, that's not the dynamic that, in my opinion, I don't know about other people. I could not have that on a daily basis because there's only so much you can take from certain people. You know what I'm saying? You said the ego would get in the way. Exactly. So maybe every now and then, like if you were in a relationship with somebody long distance or only met every now and then, I think that would definitely be okay. But something else, like on a daily basis, would get too much of, an ego built with it. Hmm. Um, you like my Patreon? Thank you, girl. I just posted some new books or some books that I do recommend, and a new book that I'm starting to read, which is very eye opening. And it's written by someone that's like, I think they've passed away now. So it's an older written book. And a lot of the older written books are very to the point and not as super coded, you know. You can have a spiritual connection with anyone that is not. Huh? Is anyone dealing with partner who wants to get the back? I'm not even going to discuss that, but it's weird. Um, you said is James agnostic? James and I do not believe in the same thing spiritually at all. So like whatever I say is just what I say and what I'm to believe. I think some people are just not, like, honestly, they're just not spiritual people at all. Thank you, yelling my wig. Appreciate it. But they're good people. They're just not spiritual. If it will become redundant when someone has what? A pissing contest every day, especially about spirituality. Exactly. Like that's why, I say it's not something that I could deal with on a daily basis in real life. You think spiritual love is better off as friendship, platonic relation? Yeah, it is, but when people start to cross the line, then it doesn't. Then that's when the confusion comes in sometimes. So, yeah, sometimes people want to cross the lines, and it's okay. That's just nature. That's just nature. But at the same time, crossing those lines, it doesn't have to be something that is, I don't know. I guess just this depends on the people that are involved in it, whether they choose to or not. Women have to trust our intuition and have our own revelations. That's right. That's right. Is there such a thing as not being spiritual and being woke? I don't know. People seem to use those words to mean the same thing these days. This generation is very self centered. Yes, I am very self centered. That's another reason why I could not be with someone that's super spiritual either, because they wouldn't accept that. They would try to change me. And sometimes you like the way you are because it works for you. And sometimes you don't need a partner or someone telling you how to be spiritually. People can have a distant people can have an opinion, but they don't control what you do spiritually. And that's what you should always strive for, is your freedom, your spiritual freedom, because if you don't, then someone else will try to control it for you. And that's where I draw the line. Look, nope. We're not going to have that type of control around here. I do what I want, period. So that would be like being in a relationship with someone that says every Sunday we have to go to church and pray. I'm like, no, you got to go to church and pray, but not me. No, we must do this and we must do that. No, you must do that and you must do this. But I'm going to do whatever I choose to do. So, that's how I feel about it. That's why I could never truly be with someone spiritual on a daily basis. If I were ever in a relationship, a physical and a spiritual relationship with someone, I could not live with them physically. I could only see them, a couple times a month, and I would have to live alone because I don't like control. Like you ain't controlling nothing. I don't think so. And the reason why I say that is because I've been spiritually independent so long that I could never imagine anyone trying to tell me how to be spiritually. Hmm. You said I want to be the smartest one. It's not that I want to be the smartest one because I can learn from somebody or I can learn from anybody. I just don't want to be forced. That there's a difference. Mhm. There's a difference. It's like I like what you're saying over there. I'm going to implement that in what I know. I like what you're saying over here. I'm going to implement that and consider that in what I know. But someone over here telling me what to do and suggesting what I do is not how it works for me. So that's why I could never have a physical, spiritual, ongoing, day to day, in house spiritual, physical relationship. It has to be few, far, and in between. um, so is being spiritual the same as being an alchemist? Well, alchemy is transmutation and how you correspond to certain things and react to certain things. But spirituality is, the direction of your spiritual journey, I think, or something like that. But not alchemy is basically how you deal with it in your life. You can't be controlled or smothered, right? So I was saying, if if I were to ever become a widow or divorced or anything, I would probably remain single on purpose. Yeah, I date, but I'm not gonna. I'm single. Mhm. Only because um, that's how I like things to be. Because if I don't, if I'm not that way, then I'm definitely gonna try to dominate spiritually, or I'm definitely gonna try to do that because I've been that way for too long. You have a friend who copy you to the point where she emulate everything you do. Da, da, da. Well, that's why you got to be extra different. Because I ain't gonna do that. So just start throwing some weird stuff in your routine and see if they copy that. So I'm not inspiring. I'm motivational. Yeah, that's one thing that I don't do anymore. Like I'm not inspiring. I don't inspire other people. You can watch and learn or be motivated by me, but I don't do those things. So just so you guys know, like I'm saying, I don't do spiritual relationships unless I choose to be in one, and we're on the same line of communication, and it is a mutual thing with permissions. Period. Okay. Mhm. So that's it. That's about it. Otherwise, spiritually, people can do certain things to, you know, um, repel any type of spiritual advances that they are not welcoming. So I don't want to have to do that, but at some point, people need to realize and respect people's boundaries. Respect people's boundaries, or be aware of people's boundaries. Um, be aware of your boundaries. Can you have more than one spiritual love, or is this meant to happen? You can have as many as you like. Like I said, you don't have to keep them, or you don't have to be with them all the time. Or it can be someone who just wants to. I guess the best way to say this is like if there's someone that you like spiritually, like, oh, I like how their spiritual path is. Um, I would like to experience a connection spiritually with someone like this so that I can, emulate this in my personal self. You know, that's the difference. So after you've gotten the information or the lesson, then you go to yourself and emulate that within. Um, but some people definitely confuse that with other things. Hmm. Yeah. And the vocabulary also, a lot of people are very uncomfortable. This is why a lot of celebrities, now I'm not a celebrity, but this is why a lot of celebrities do not allow direct contact or with people. They have to go through someone else to relay a message, because so many people don't know their boundaries, or they're inconsiderate of people's boundaries. So even if the person is unknowing of what they're doing, some other another person may feel that they know what they're doing. And this is where a lot of spiritual confusion comes in. When someone just has a strong intuition or a natural channel spiritually, but they could be unaware consciously of what they're doing. And so sometimes you have to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially when they ask questions, or things like that. But if you can purposely tell that someone is doing something, then you have to draw your boundaries there. Hmm. And this, it goes the same with a spiritual, quote unquote, love or spiritual relationship. Um, it's the same. You must have the boundaries, and you must be on the same um, level of communication. If one is communicating in one way and the other is communicating in a different way, then the communication is lost in translation. Hmm. So make sure you're both communicating in the same way, and that you both want to communicate in the same way. Because some people communicate in a very coded way, while another person is communicating in layman's terms, and one doesn't know that the other one is speaking in layman's terms, or the one who's speaking in layman's terms does not know that the other person is speaking in code. So there should be some type of word that you would say when you want to speak in layman's terms, and there should also be something that you would say to indicate that we are speaking, quote unquote, in code. Some people do not do this, and this is where the confusion begins. Um, like literally, like this is why there has to be a separation. Because I know when I talk to certain people, they don't talk code, period. So I don't have to worry about that. When I talk to other people, that's all they talk is code. So I can't trust certain people, period. And that's where a lot of miscommunication comes in. And when when you're at that type of, when you're on that type of level where um, certain people that only speak code, it's like, I don't feel like dealing with that today. Let me talk to some regular people. And then sometimes they think you're ignoring them or you don't take them seriously. Well, I don't. Because sometimes I just want to speak like a normal person speaks. And sometimes, you know, code is fun, but not when it's annoying. Right. Have I ever wanted to be a part of a religious community but felt too unlimited? No, I never wanted to be a part of no type of religious community. I don't even like being around too many people. I like small, intimate gatherings, or like one or two people. Too many people, I don't like. I don't know why. I mean, I could be in a crowd, but I don't like having to interact with a bunch of different people. Give me one or two people, and I'm good. Give me a bunch of people, bye. Now online, it's different because I'm not physically in your presence. But in real life, no. I don't want to be a part of any religious community where a bunch of people are sitting there judging me and looking at me crazy. You know, if I wanted to be a part of a community, I would choose something different than religion. I would choose something like something I was talented at, or like maybe like they have, book clubs, or they have, crafting circles where people get together and they create, I don't know, crafts, I don't know, something stupid like that. But I would much rather, you know, be in a community of people that are not um, trying to do anything other than whatever the community is about, but not religion. Hmm. So, um, so if you are, if you want to communicate with me in any type of way, if you write me a comment, if you write me a personal DM or message, I would like you to speak in layman's terms first and foremost. And if it seems like you're not, then I will not answer you. But that's just, sometimes you have to put rules up, or you have to let people know your boundaries. And that's what I'm doing. I'd rather put up those boundaries and see if people, are going to have enough respect to um, do the same, for me as I would do for them. Hmm. So, yeah, just like physical love, spiritual love and physical love have boundaries. It would almost seem like you were invading someone's physical space if you were to spiritually invade their space as well with certain words or statements. It's the same thing. So um, that's how I truly feel when people cross the boundary by saying things that they know are spiritually intruding to certain people. um, Especially if you have not allowed them to tell you, okay, well, let's speak in these spiritual terms, or let's speak in layman's terms. People should have the choice. Okay. Um, you get what? Yeah, that's exactly the best way to do it, because sometimes, like, if people don't if people don't have boundaries, it can feel like you're being spiritually invaded, or energetically invaded, and that's almost the same as being physically invaded. So make sure that you have, those boundaries up. And a lot of people will spiritually invade you without even a blink of an eye. And to me, it's almost the same type of feeling or energy as someone physically crossing the line or invading your body. And that's something that is very much a major thing in the spiritual community. And I don't feel that if you, I feel that if you are guilty of this, or you do this on a regular basis, man or woman, that eventually someone is going to call you out on it. And you don't want that person to call you out on it. And, so that's should be your wake up call. Thank you. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah, we don't use tricks and code words unless we're talking about something that we don't want other people to know about. That should be the only reason for code, not to spiritually invade someone. If that's what you're doing, then don't be surprised when you get tricked back times three, or four, or five, or six. Okay? Because some people aren't ready for that. And some people don't take lightly being invaded. I'm saying, yeah, so spiritually loving someone should be mutual, not one sided. So, to be in a spiritual relationship with someone, to be in a spiritual communication with someone, should be mutual. You say God forgives, I don't. Okay, Rick Ross. um, no, what I'm speaking about, people that know. Okay, if you don't know, then you're probably not aware of it. But if you do know, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, if you don't know, be thankful you don't know. I'll just say that. When you get closer to a level of consciousness, you'll feel when people start spiritually invading you, even if you don't know the code words or the language or whatever. You'll feel it. And that's what will allow you to know what's going on, and for you to look deeper and realize who you're dealing with. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. How to spiritually dominate someone with spiritual knowledge. And also playing spiritual games, definitely. It's basically, okay, if you watch my other channel, Relationship Games, it's the same thing with spiritual games, except it's more psychological. So, since I had a lot of practice over there, I think I've gotten pretty good at the spiritual games. But at the same time, it also depends on your level of knowledge. Somebody said books. Um, I don't want to tell people how to spiritually dominate someone, because that's something that I'm now saying is not the way to go, especially if they don't give you their permission. Now, some people will give you your permission. Yes, dominate me, baby. Yes, do whatever you got to do. I'm here for you. Some people will say, yes, please do that. But some people do not invite that. So, you can joke around and ask and be like, hey, do you want me to spiritually be a spiritual dominatrix and dominate all over you or whatnot? And if they say, yeah, go ahead and do what you got to do. Okay. But if they say, no, no, I don't think so, then maybe just an attraction spell, and an attraction will be better. Yes. You said spiritual dusty, right? Yeah, don't be a spiritual dusty. Okay. Like literally, there are, and I know people hate this, and I know people don't like certain people's messages, but it's just their boundaries. People need to, it's just like a door and a lock and a gate. People respect each other's boundaries, and it's not anything personal. It's just, these are my boundaries. Um, Look, if people are continuously crossing your boundaries, taking from you, or entering your life without your permission, or entering your spiritual belief system without an exchange or without your permission, it's wrong. And you're not going to get a good experience out of that anyway, because they don't even want you in their presence. So that's something else to think about it. To think about. If someone truly wants you, you will know, because they will come and get you. They will come and ask you, hey, da 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 da. They will not try to trick you, play you for dumb. They will not try to dominate over you. It will be a mutual exchange and an enjoyed experience to the fullest. And to give someone a compliment doesn't mean that they're going to take the compliment either, because that compliment may not really be what they feel about themselves or feel that people should feel about them. So, giving a compliment is nice, but make sure that you're not crossing boundaries with a compliment. Because, like I said, when people are aware of certain things, and they can basically create a field, an energetic field around them, to where if anything crosses a boundary, um, it may be, you know, dealt with in a way that people don't like. So be cautious. Mm-hmm. If someone speaks in code, are they giving good information or opposite? It just depends on what their intention is for you. For example, if someone was to speak in code to me, I would expect them to let me know that they were speaking in code first by a word that we would come up with together, or a general word that means we are speaking in layman's terms versus we are speaking in coded terms. So I would expect someone to tell me what we were speaking, what language we were speaking in before they start speaking. Someone crossed a boundary with you yesterday and you set them, yeah. Yeah, sometimes you got to tell them. You got to be like, not today or ever. And if you spiritually want to connect with someone, it should be a private thing. It should not be in a huge chat room with several other people that are trying to do the same thing. That's almost like being on one of those, what do you call it? Those websites where it's like a fans only or whatever, and the lady's like stripping and you have all these desperate people in there saying stuff. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like degrading at the same time as desperation the on the side of the commenters. You can tell the desperate people from the people that actually, well, they wouldn't be there or commenting unless they had like something really interesting to say. But at the same time, the only fans, sorry, you can tell the other people's desperation in the chat versus people that have some type of decency. So definitely feel that most people should respect everyone's spiritual boundaries. And I'm speaking in layman's terms right now, not any type of code. Um, so if I speak to you and I want to speak code to you, I will put them sprinkles, the little yellow stars that say sprinkle, sprinkle as an emoji. Or I will say sprinkle, sprinkle. That means we finna talk a code. Now, if I say it because you are nice and you give me a donation, that's just saying thank you. But before I speak to you or type a DM, if I say sprinkle, sprinkle, that means code. If I don't say it, that means layman's terms. If you speak back to me in code, I won't speak back to you. That's just going to be how it has to be. Some people say peace. Some people say this, but I got to be special and extra. So mine is sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. That's just going to have to be. Do I give a reply when people say happy holidays or whatever? Not if it's too many people. If it's somebody that I know personally, yes. Like if somebody that I speak to on a regular basis, of course. But not just, being random. So if a person spiritually is violated consistently, like gang, then the only way to get them to stop is to play games with them. Um, win the game. The only way to get them to stop is to defeat them at their own game. That's it. And if you defeat them at their own game, it's no fun to play anymore. Because you know. That's one thing I wanted to discuss. Like, I saw the movie. What was it? Godzilla versus King Kong. I saw that today, and very interesting. Very, um, it's kind of like spiritual games, literally. That's why I was going to. I took a poll for my Patreon subscribers if they wanted me to do a video on that movie and kind of break it down, or other topics. But that was definitely one of the options. Hmm. And the funniest thing that I found that was so cool during this whole crazy ordeal is that there are actual fake people on the internet with fake pictures that are created in certain types of apps. So you might be looking at someone online who's not even a real human. They take like two pictures and merge them together to create a whole nother face, and then they give them a name. I'm like, it was so funny because I know someone did that to me and they merged me with Michael Jackson, and I'm like, I know that's me and Michael Jackson merged. Come on now. My children have that software. Okay. And I y'all ain't slick and nobody's slick, bots. But it just made me laugh because I so many people really fall for the okey doke. And when they fall for the okey doke, it's like they really fall for it. And it's like, oh my gosh. Oh my God. Like, I just laugh and take a screenshot and save it for later and show people. And I'm like, look at this. Isn't that funny? Or I'll make one myself. What do I feel about 5D energetic ties with others? I don't feel that there's a tie unless you tie a knot on purpose. It's thank you, C Corp Digital Solutions, sprinkle, sprinkle. I don't think that there is any type of tie unless you both tied yourselves together on purpose with permission. Otherwise, it's another spiritual um, invasion, is what I say. So, unless you say, look, we're going to tie ourselves together on purpose today, and we both agree on it, then yes, you have a spiritual connection or 5D tie. But if you don't agree upon that, then no, you don't, because it's no strings, baby. That's how I choose to create my reality. Okay. So if you say, look, no strings, no strings. We are energetic beings, and we can definitely cleanse our own energies by vibrating on a higher level, by a certain diet, and by a certain way of thinking. All is mind. So, whatever you choose to do for your reality and your universe is what you choose to do, and those are your rules. If anyone else tries to pull you into their rules, you don't have to comply. That's the number one. It's like having a private school. Private schools do not have to abide by the same rules as a public school. So, depending on your own mentality, that's how it goes. Thank you, Kay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Appreciate it. So many people get sucked up in other people's realities that their rules become their rules, and they don't have their own. They just take other people's rules. I make my own rules. I create my own worlds, and I have my own systems. This is why my name is Ashira, Star Goddess, because we create our own universe. We create our own systems. We create our own morality. We create how we run our homes. We don't follow everyone. We don't take the rules of everyone. Now, there are always universal laws and things like that, but that's where alchemy and transmutation come in. Okay. So we don't have to do that. Just because other people got stuck in that time loop or in that cycle does not mean they can't get out and create their own. If you agree to stay stuck somewhere, you agree to stay stuck there. If you agree to create your own, then other people's rules do not mentally apply to you. So either you're a creator or you're a creation or you're a follower of a creator. That's what you got to choose. It's your choice. So I choose to be a creator. I'm not a work of art. I am an artist and I am a creator. So, um, it is up to us. Not, we don't repeat people's rules. We create our own. And if other people don't like it, they will challenge you, but that doesn't mean anything. I would like to create my own, so why not? I don't have to, you know, go with another set of rules that I definitely do not want to live by. Because then that's not living at all. Hmm. You said when you can't create, you control on your other channel. And I've been thinking about it since. Yeah. When you can't create, you control. That's right. When you cannot create something, you want to control it. You can't create your own and you see someone else that can, you want to control what they've created. Or you want their mind or their mindset so that you can do the same. The best way to get that is to just be nice. Give, like, literally be like, I love the way you do A, B, C, and D. Can you explain how you do that? Tell me how you did this. That's so cool. You don't have to try to spiritually invade someone to see how they think or to put yourself in their shoes or dominate them in some type of way. All you got to do is ask. Most of the time, people will be willing to tell you. Be like, let me show you. This is what I do. A, B, C, and D. Be motivated by people. Learn by their example. When you try to control too many things, you lose control of other things at the same time. And then you become sloppy. Hmm. And of course, being very diverse is very helpful when it comes to creation. You can't just focus on one thing. You can't just be focused in one area of expertise. You got to have a wide variety of things that you are into in order to be a good creator or a good manifester or something like that. You can't just focus on one thing and expect to know how to create everything from it. It doesn't work that way. You know how they say, jack of all trades, master of none? That's me, a creator. If you're a master of one thing, you're not a jack of all trades and you can't create on a level that someone else who's a jack of all trades can. They may not be a master at one thing, but they can create those things and um, have so much diversity. So, you said you believe spiritual love is attachment and spiritual love is truly love because you would be loving something or someone that you know why to love them and why. Spiritual love may not be what you really think it is because some people say that some people confuse love with something else. Like, let's say you use the word love in a coded way, it doesn't mean the same thing as love means in layman's terms. So, when a spiritual person says that they love you, it does not mean that they have these intense, strong feelings for you out of admiration. It means something totally different. That's what I'm saying. When people talk to you in code versus in layman's terms, you have to know what they're saying to you, because someone could spiritually sit up there and say, I love you, and it means something totally different than someone who does not speak code and is saying it in layman's terms. It means something totally different. So, in a way, if you say it in code, it means I cover you. I cover you spiritually. It doesn't mean I will do anything for you. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that. So it could also be a trap spiritually. So that's why you can't really feel that it's the same type of love. It's like I'm saying, some people will say, oh, I love you. But to them, love means I cover you energetically from other people. And blah, 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 blah. And it doesn't mean it's good or bad. It just means like, it's like giving you a coat. If giving you a coat or a hoodie is the equivalent of love, then what is love spiritually? Think about it. There's people that give away coats every year to the homeless people. Does that mean that they love them in a physical way, or in you know, a way that's more positive? Mm-hmm. You said everyone's definition of love is different. It's definitely different if you're speaking in code. Correct. Grow in love. That's right. Grow in love means get to know someone to the point where they will do anything for you. That is growing in love. Because you like fast love is not real, because it's not real. You can't grow, you can't create that type of commitment and bond really quickly. It takes a long time. And so spiritual love is more like a covering and an exchange of energies. It's not anything more. It's If it's mutual, then it can be a wonderful, beautiful thing. If it's not possessive, it could be a wonderful and beautiful thing. If it's anything else but, then it's invasive, you know. And like I said, when people are on two different levels of speaking, one is speaking in code and one is speaking in layman's terms, if there is no communication of which they are speaking, things will definitely get confused. And I will say right now that I do not speak in code 24/7. Not even 2 hours a day, I don't. Not even 1 hour a day. Most of the time that I'm communicating with anyone is in layman's terms. I only use code to figure out things, you know, um, or to read and decipher things. I don't use it to trick people or talk to people unless they are doing that to me, which is more of a recent thing. Okay, so, right. I would never try to do that to anyone, especially if I know that they're not familiar with that type of speaking. Thank you, Nazir Sprinkle Sprinkle. Code is useful at times. Yes, like when I'm talking to my child and I want to say something without saying it in front of a bunch of people, we have code words for certain things, like, you know, da 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 da, and we'll know exactly what we're talking about, but no one else will. That's the only time you should really use it, was when you don't want anyone else to realize what you're talking about, not to take advantage of another person, because they'll know, and then they won't trust you anymore, and then they'll start to resent certain things and certain people, and a lot of people that you think a lot of people that you think are your friends, quote unquote, or someone that you speak to on a regular basis, sometimes you find out that they were also doing the same things. And so you have to question people's motives now. It's like you don't want to become this type of person who doesn't trust people to an extent to where you should trust someone. Now, trust has levels to it. It's not about I trust you 100%. It's like I trust you 5%. I trust you 10%. I trust you 20%. Now, there's so many people trying to do these things when they speak to you or when they communicate with you. It's like you only trust certain people 1%. And so you can't, um, you know, go about living as you normally want to. Hmm. So, yeah, someone says safe words, right? So you end up cutting everybody off that you were probably in communication with over the last, what, year or two, especially if it's online. You end up cutting them off because you realize that they were part of the whole, speaking violation. You said stranger danger, code sense, right? But you live and you learn. It's a good lesson. That way, if anyone else approaches you with the same type of speech, you know what to do. So I always see things as a lesson. Um, and I value and appreciate all those lessons. And I'm not mad at anybody, like, because when you learn something, that's something that is priceless. Knowledge is valuable. So I don't resent or I'm not upset with anybody. And I would hope that if something similar had happened to any one of you, that you could also feel the same way about those people because they gave you a gift of the knowledge that you did not have prior to. And they also gave you an awareness of other people who may try to do something or worse to you maybe in the future. So make sure you just see it like that. Hmm. But at the same time, you know, not everyone is going to be allowed back in, at, you know, because maybe that's the lesson as well. Hmm. You said weird bloodlines and stories of their delusion. Yeah. I'm like, when you have your own mind and you're not talking that talk, maybe. But until then, bye. Isn't telling someone something the same as talking in code, like both are casting spelling? No, I mean, this is on a different level. This is on a different level. It's like they're doing it on purpose, you know, like using certain words on purpose that are intrusive to the ones that know, you know. Like, for example, I'll give you an example in layman's terms. Like, let's say if you had a crush on somebody, right? And you're like in high school or something, and your best friend would be like, "So, how's," and then they would say their name in front of a lot of people. And you're like, it's kind of like an invasion of your privacy or you're crossing the boundaries. And it's not, it can be used in other ways. Like if someone knows a secret about you or someone wants some like information about you and they'll use a code word to let you know that they um they want a part of what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like they know and they want to trick you into allowing them into your personal business, basically. Okay. Why would a man text nothing better by itself? He was so weak. But see, this is another one right here. This is a good example. This is a person that's trying to do that. When they type in all caps and try to have you read something so that you're mentally, um, what you call it, you're mentally trying to um, speak to yourself. This is an example. So I'll break this one down so that you guys who know. Why would a man text nothing better? No thing. So we're going to break it down. No thing. So thing is code for something that's not quote unquote human or considered normal, which would be me. I'm the thing because y'all know I'm a goddess. Better means I'm not better than whoever's speaking, which I am. Okay, and then when she puts by itself, she's talking to me and saying that I will be alone because many people feel that I have an extra channel. So this is another example. It's code and a trigger. It's a psychological code and trigger, but we already know that I can break those down and they don't affect me. So hopefully you guys will realize this and stop now. You get it? It's manipulation and it doesn't work on me because if you have more than one channel, you think in third person. And so when you read something like that, you read it in first person, in third person, and second person, and you get that it's not something nice. Now, if I was just one dimensional or two dimensional, it might have affected me, but it doesn't. So I'm trying to tell you guys, don't do that because, like I said, my 3 channels of anger is not good. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. So, like, if y'all think y'all getting over, y'all really not. I can definitely know what you're doing. And when someone knows, that's not good. Because they will call you out on it. um, yeah, this is not the relationship advice channel. So no one should be asking me questions on this channel. That should be for my other channel. I have 2 channels, a spiritual channel and the other channel for level up. That's why you need to keep it separate. Otherwise, I will not answer your question or I will definitely think that you're insinuating something else. So that's all I'm saying. Keep the questions for that channel. Um, that's the best. That's the best thing you can do. All right. And don't put stuff in caps, baby. If you put anything in caps, I'm going to take it as code. Thank you. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Yes. But that's the reason why I'm making also this video to tell you guys the boundaries because a lot of people don't respect boundaries and they don't pay attention or they come in late or whatever. So that's the only reason. So if you're typing in caps, I'm not going to read your question or comment. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Happy Ishtar to you too, girl. So I'm not going to talk to you if you're writing in caps. If you're using certain words, I'm not going to talk to you. Okay? At all. In fact, I might just put you on a timeout and block you. or just ignore you. Okay. Um, you said your family think you demonic for not being into Christianity. Thank you for this channel. Well, you know, this channel is for everyone who wants to learn information and be, motivated to do their own thing. But at the same time, everyone's not going to agree on your type of spirituality. So that's why spirituality should be a personal journey to be experienced through your own perspective. And if someone else's perspective um, motivates you and you want to incorporate, or not incorporate, but you want to have a little bit of creative um, what's the word, motivation from them, that's wonderful. But not everybody is going to be able to be quote unquote Michael Jackson. Not everyone is going to be able to be quote unquote Prince. But you can hear a little bit of each of those artists in modern day entertainers, right? But if when everyone starts sounding like them, then what? Who's the creator? Who's going to be the next originator if everyone sounds like them? We need originality, not repeats of the same thing. Yeah. That's why it's important for you to find your own style and your own way of doing things. You don't want to sound like a copy of somebody. If y'all notice how, like someone said Bruno Mars, how he changed up his style from when he first started, or when he was very, he changed up his style a little bit because you can't live that way and be original, because all people will say is, oh, you were just a copy, or you're the next this person, or you're just a copy of this person. And then you would always be compared to them, and that would get annoying after a while. You'd be like, dang, I made it this far and people are still comparing me to this other person. Well, that's because you took so much from that person that you forgot to create yourself. And that's a lot of people's issue today. You took so much from your family, or you took so much from your culture, or you took so much from someone that you looked up to, that you forgot to be and create your own life and your own self and your own reality and your own universe. You forgot. You, you were so focused on getting what this person had, or taking what this person has, or copying what this person has, and you just became a copy of everything. You forgot to create yourself. Mm-hmm. So create yourself, and copy, create whatever you want to do, but don't become. Always be an original. Don't subscribe to everybody's rules that aren't beneficial to you personally. Okay, because you have people going around that will take someone else's rules that have totally different circumstances in their life, and those rules do not apply, but they will follow rules that don't apply and then judge you if you don't follow those rules that don't even apply to you. And then where do you end up? In a backwards, messed up place. So we have to get away from all of that. We have to get away from copying, from I guess biblically they would call it, envious or jealous, or being envious or jealous and wanting what this other person has, when you need to create something that other people actually want in addition to, you know what I'm saying? But instead of them wanting it, they would be motivated by it to create it or something similar for themselves. Never try to take what someone else is not offering you and that you have not come up with originally. Because all you're doing is complimenting them and suppressing who you could really truly become. Period. Throwing away your chance to create something and become a god or goddess yourself. Throwing it away, down the drain. Mm-hmm. So, you said, and it's a trap. Mm-hmm. It is, because you get trapped in their world and you can't get out. And because you can't get out, because they're speaking for you. And the reason why that they can speak for you is because at one point you wanted them to. At one point you allowed them to. At one point you wish that they would. And then look what happens. You can't speak for yourself any longer. So be careful when, you look at other people and you want something from them. Ask yourself, what do people want from me? And even if they do want it, what about me motivates other people, not create something that they want, but what motivates them, what makes them get up and go do their own thing instead of what makes them want to become a copy of you. That's not what people want to happen, because then we'd have a cult, or we'd have, an army, or we'd have a quote unquote hive mind. We'd have, a bunch of people looking the same, dressing the same, talking the same. I don't want that. Okay. Right. And at a certain point, a lot of the people that became famous, they didn't want that either, but so many people had done that. They had to accept it because they were too famous. They were just too famous, you know. Um, and so they didn't really have that option, which is why they probably wanted to break into other types of work or other types of creation. And a lot of times people aren't welcomed into other types of, or the other fields of creation, because they're only known for this. And so this happens to a lot of entertainers and, celebrities. They want to go from singing to directing or acting or doing something like playing in like an actor may want to become a musician, uh, or this and that. And they can't cross over because people only see them as one thing. So sometimes literally they'll disappear and work behind the scenes because too many people are trying to do the same thing, or too many people will not take them seriously as a director or as a producer or as a arranger or whatever. So they have to do it behind the scenes. Mhm. Anyway, well, I hope this explains, you know, the spiritual love versus physical love, because physical love is just an expression of love through the physical body and the physical self. Spiritual love is more of a covering or a connection that is agreed upon. Anything else is not. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you said too many satanic things. Well, it's everywhere. Once the whole word entertainment definitely means you're becoming part of a bigger thing. And so once you enter the entertainment field, you're now entertained within a large group of whoever. You know what I'm saying? And whatever they're doing, you're now doing. So that's why I always tell people I would never want to be famous. Never. And I always list my videos under comedy, not entertainment, no matter what, because I don't want to be entertained or I don't want to be entertainment. I just want to laugh and have fun and be light and not have to deal with all this other stuff. Just being me. That's it. Mhm. Mhm. And then, sometimes like you have to go into your settings on purpose, like, especially if you're on YouTube, to correct or change your, like from entertainment to comedy because they'll automatically set you on entertainment if you don't change it. Or you have to go into the settings and permanently change it. And sometimes when they um, update the system, they'll put you right back at it. So you got to keep checking. Do I believe snakes are evil? No. Snakes are an animal. Do you think if snakes are evil, birds are evil, rats are evil, ants are evil, caterpillars are evil? It's not about being evil, it's about what the symbolic meaning is and what they associate the symbolic meaning of. You know, most people, in layman's terms, have come to think that snakes are evil because of what they mean symbolically. And symbolically, they just mean knowledge or craftiness. And so when someone has a lot of knowledge or craftiness and they're smarter than you, they can definitely take advantage of you, which would be considered evil. But if they use that knowledge and craftiness for good in teaching you, then it can be used for also good. So it depends on whoever is using that symbolism and how they're using it. Yes, the snake represents the Kundalini energy. If you have Kundalini energy, it depends on how you use it for good or evil, then that's what it means. So some people will use it for evil and taking advantage of people in power. And some people will use it for good, for teaching, for helping. Some people will use it for both because they feel like they have to defend themselves against the other ones. So, hmm you said, how about all animals are the devil? I don't I don't believe in the quote unquote devil. I believe because if you spell devil backwards, it just means lived, like the dead, basically. And that's a whole nother story. But at the same time, I don't believe that there's good or evil. I believe there's only intentions through certain people and what they're planning to do. Because at any minute they can change their minds. For example, if someone plans to do something very evil, in that one last second before they cross that line and take action, they can change their mind just like that in 2 seconds. The villain can, in 2 seconds, become a non villain or a hero, depending on whether they make that choice or not. So I don't believe in good or bad because people can quickly change their destiny or their future or whatever. They can quickly change it just by one thought and one action. So, if you've been sucked into a quote unquote, I would call it way of thinking that was never your original way of thinking or a way that you choose to think, you can quickly leave at any time. You just have to be an original creator of your own universe and create your own rules. And whatever you've learned through whoever, you've been ruled over by, you've certainly learned enough to beat them at their own game, or to psychologically or mentally neutralize them at their own game. Okay? You should have that much knowledge at least by now. Whether you use it or not is up to you. Hmm. Hmm. This is the beautiful thing about belief. You don't have to believe in anything that you don't choose to believe in. That's the beauty of. Just because other people do, don't mean you have to at all. You can make up your own belief, baby. That's the beauty of it. Because where did the original belief come from? Someone's imagination. Any original belief that's old did not come from the fact or what is. It came from someone's thought, someone's imagination. That's it. The first person to think there must be some grand person in the sky that grants my wishes, because whenever I think about A, B, C, and D and I look at the sky, it comes true. Maybe you were just manifesting, or it was the law of attraction, but you want to give it a persona. So then that belief system became very popular. And now everyone in this certain area or in this family now also believes the same thing. You see how it starts? So I can make up a belief right now and popularize it, and it would be true because people believe in it. And it will start to manifest in some form or fashion, or start creating some coincidences to where people would be convinced that it is true. So, therefore, you don't have to believe in anything you don't want to. You can create whatever you choose to believe, and that's what will be in your mind, in your life. If you are not able to think for yourself, if you're not very creative or original, you will have a problem with this. So, work on originality and creativity, and also not caring what other people think, and you will free yourself from all of those things. So, right. And so, you don't have to agree with anything I say. I would much rather people um, believe whatever they choose to, because, goodness, it works for me. How do you deprogram the mind from being brainwashed by toxic code, especially by the media? By learning the toxic code so that it does not affect you. That's what I do on my Patreon. I try to break down some of the code. If you know the code, it does not affect you because you know what it really means. Like, for example, if someone had a secret code and when they said, oh, it's going to rain tomorrow, and that means, oh, tomorrow, don't tell this person that I'm here. Well, if when you hear, oh, tomorrow it's going to rain, you know that person is going to be there tomorrow. So you're going to show up to meet them. But if you don't know the code and you say you hear tomorrow it's going to rain, you're just going to bring an umbrella, and you're not going to know that it secretly means that this person is here, but they don't want to be known to be here. So that's just an example. If you know the code, you know what they're saying, and you know what to avoid and what to prepare for. And at the same time, it doesn't affect you like it affects the other people who don't know and they run out and spend all their money on toilet paper or umbrellas, okay? Or this or that. So it just helps you a little bit. But at the same time, you're not going to believe in something that you already can decode. If you go by the rules of certain things, then that's when it affects you. But if you create your own rules as far as what you believe in and how you do things, then it will not affect you. You're in a quantum entanglement. Well, then take the quantum entanglement out of it. Quantum detangle. You know how to quantum detangle? Throw a wrench in it. You don't know how to quantum detangle? Okay, take the science of quantum entanglement. What breaks that? That's what you do. Hmm. As long as you believe in something scientifically or physically or spiritually, then you are creating it. So if you create a counteract that severs that, then that's what it does. So what counteract is in place that severs an entanglement? How can you be smart enough to know it's real? I'm confused. No. How can you be smart enough to create what you want to be real? That's it. There's nothing that's real. Everything is created. Did you create it or did someone else? Are you living someone else's creation or your own? That's the key. So, if someone says, "Oh, you're in a quantum entanglement," did you create being in a quantum entanglement? Did you agree to be in a quantum entanglement? If no, then you're not in one. If you say, "Look, I'm invisible. I could black in and black out at any given time, and I am not entangled to anything," that's what you are. Okay. But if you believe that you are entangled, then that's what you are. So there you go. It's all in what you believe. If you believe in yourself and that you create your own rules, then one of your rules is that I do not become entangled unless I choose to. How do I get the courage to be me when it might upset others? I don't care. Let it upset others. It may be their wake up call to do the same thing. The only reason they would be upset is because they can't do it, or they haven't figured out how to do it, or they can't control it, or they don't want to control it. Because when you try to control something that does not want to be controlled, it creates more of a disturbance and it wakes up more people who are controlled, who want to not be controlled. And so they're looking over here like, well, they struggling with her. Let me pay attention to her. You see, so that's why they leave certain people alone who are not good examples of people that fall in line. So, like a Dave Chappelle, like a Cat Williams. Okay, sometimes they mess with certain people that they want to control, And when they don't fall in line, they want to do certain things or say certain things about them or start rumors about them and say this and say that because they can't control them now. They want to control how people perceive them. And when you can't control how people perceive them, and when you can't control the person themselves, then you just kind of what they call not give them any attention anymore. Um, mhm. So, like I've noticed that a lot of people who want people to fall in line and they don't, then they'll start to want to replace them with someone else. And so they'll start to harass them and make them look bad in the public eye in order to start weird rumors about them so that there's an excuse why they're not there anymore. And I always equate that to like Cat Williams or um, Dave Chappelle because Cat Williams wouldn't fall in line. So they did all this crazy stuff and replaced him with what you call it, Kevin Hart. Okay, because we already know if what you call it, Cat Williams was still on the scene, certain people would not really be as famous as they are. If Dave Chappelle had not ever been, given some certain type of control deal, he would have probably really been on a higher level um, at this point. But when you can't control people that become on a certain level, then you get upset. So, right. And so that's why a lot of people are becoming more independent because of this. If they can't control you, they don't want to be bothered with you. That's the same thing as some toxic relationships, too. Like some people will not be with someone that they cannot control. They won't. And some people compromise and some people don't care. I'm not a bee and I'm not in a flower, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Another one. Um, I'm in my own universe and I create that. You want to do yours, do one. Okay. Um, if you're going to give me any type of compliment in the future, it's that I am the goddess of my own universe in which I create. That's the best compliment you can give me. All that other talk, no. There you go. We're talking in layman's terms. We're not talking that talk. Okay, I'm not a bee. I'm not in no flower, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You said cat is a Virgo too, right? So, and some people may be victims. Now, let me tell y'all something because I've considered so many things. Some people may be actual victims that are forced to abide by certain rules because they're so like drawn in to society and they're so much a people pleaser and they're so much a wanting to do what's right according to society that they need someone like me to help them think in order to free themselves. And sometimes I feel that when people need someone like me to free themselves, then I hope that they do free themselves. I really hope that they free themselves because I want it to be the motivation for other people to do the same. That's it. If you can't free yourself on your own by looking and observing an example, and you had no other choice but to look through the perception of that being, I hope that you free yourself. And if you do, I will be so happy. And if others do the same, I will be so happy, and it would have all been worth it in the end, or the beginning, whichever one it is. So if that's what certain people can do for you, I definitely hope that you do that. Hmm. Yeah, freedom isn't free, it's a choice. Yes, I hope that that choice has been made. Once I think, a lot of people take knowledge different. I might read 1,000 books, but that doesn't mean I believe anything in them. You know how people can do that? Some people will read and memorize stuff to where it is the gospel. Some people will read stuff and they can debate the very book that they read and still be correct. That's what you have to do. It's just like on in debate. I never took debate, but it's like, okay, so give me a topic. I'll debate it and I'll win on both sides, because it's not about who's wrong or right. It's about your skill and your technique to create your outcome. That's it. So stop trying to be right. Stop trying to be wrong. Just beat it. Hmm. So you're never wrong and you're never right. You're only what you chose to be, how you chose to accept whatever it is you chose to be. So, like, for example, if you read a book about aliens, oh, aliens are real. Well, I could read another book and decode it and be like, you know what? Aliens is code for A, B, C, and D. They ain't real. But I can also read another book that says that they are real. But at the end of the day, what I'm going to say is anything that is not of you and by you and created by you is alien. There you go. And then I would be right on both sides. Right? Mm-hmm. So you need a leader, but you can't make up your mind. Let me guide you to the purple rain. That's exactly correct, Prince. Humans fear our power creating life with words, so we read old books and live from them, right? On a certain level of consciousness, there are no words. You do not speak, you just think, you know? So, what would you think if there were no words? Symbols, shapes, forms, you know, sacred geometry. Then where do you go from there before there was that? Sound waves, circles, spirals, before they were angles. Then you keep going and going until you get back to source. And then you realize you are source and you created this whole thing, and you don't got to follow nobody rules but your own. And you finish creating the life that you choose. So that's what you got to do. And most people can't do that, or they haven't come to that conclusion yet. So there you go. Hmm. And even if it's okay, here's the thing about that. Even if it's not true to a sense where you can scientifically prove it, which can you really scientifically prove anything? It's true to your imagination and your ability to create what you want. See the difference? It doesn't have to be true. It can be just what you want or what you desire to have or what you want to create or what you want to see. It does not have to be true. And what is truth anyway? Someone else's opinion, someone else's rule. How did math become created? Who created math? Did somebody just put 1 plus 1 equals 2 ones together? And then it came from there? Somebody was really bored that day, right? So now we have math. Who came up with A, B, C in that order? Why did B have to come after A? Why couldn't C come after A? Are letters based on math? And what are the letters based on? Angles? See how it just keeps going and recreating itself in more dense levels? So going back to the imagination and your own ability to create, stop what I call allowing creation to create you and you create it. You know how everybody started saying, oh, you'll never use that type of math when you grow up. You'll never use that, and you don't. Okay. Mom, I'm having to divide fractions and add this and that. I'm like, I have never used that a day in my life, baby. Ever. So, what are we really teaching people? We're teaching them a form of belief that they will never be able to use in a way that's beneficial to them. We're teaching people a way to follow rules, follow schedules, follow directions. We're teaching people how to think instead of how to create. And that's the difference between people that are followers versus people that are creators. Logic, too much logic is a trap. Too much imagination is a trap. You need a balance of both. Mm-hmm. So free yourself by creating your own freedom. Done. Tomorrow, wake up and say, this is my world, and I'm going to create what I want, and I'm going to follow the rules that I choose to follow. And ain't nobody going to say nothing about it, period. And if they don't like it, oh well. I don't care. That's it. Now, if there's certain things that you do like and that do work in your universe and you're happy with them, great. Implement them in your creation. You don't have to dismiss all of it together. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just get rid of the stuff you don't like. You don't like dressing a certain way and putting on certain colors and talking to people every day. Don't do it. Don't do it. You don't like having to talk slick to people to feel like you have some type of advantage over them instead of creating your own universe. Don't do it. What are you really doing? And how silly and weird is it? Mm-hmm. And when I speak on my videos, I'm speaking in layman's terms, not in coded terms. Okay, just so y'all know. I'm not speaking that, I'm not talking that talk. I'm talking normal because in my universe, everybody is speaking normally unless they are hiding something or want to make something discreet. So, you said you hate them games. Me too, girl, because I don't play games. Look, I quit school because of recess. I don't play. Y'all can play them games. They're not even games to me. It's silliness. Um, to me, it's a form of saying, look how many people I have under control. Look how many people feel for the okie doke. Look how many people fell in line and submitted. We can use them as drones. They are not creators. They are not leaders. They are simply drones. They don't have a mind of their own. You can predict what they're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We can predict what you're going to wear tomorrow. Therefore, we can create what you're going to do tomorrow. Therefore, you're too predictable and you're not a creator because you follow these rules with no questions. So, tomorrow, you won't know what I'm going to wear because when I get up and put it on, it's going to be what I want to wear. And if people bother me about it, then I'll put something else crazy on. Okay? There you go. Everyone don't want to create. I can easily create if I wanted to. I think everyone wants to be their own person though, and not have to follow a bunch of rules that they did not agree to or create for themselves. I think people want to be to have the choice and the freedom. Not that they want to be born into something that was not their personal choice. I think they want to be able to choose for themselves. They may not want to create, but they may want to have the option to be able to create if they chose to as well. And that's where it should come in. Like, this is your choice. When someone honks behind you for not going fast enough, you drive slower. Okay. Sure do. That happened to me one time. It was hilarious. This person was following behind me and they were honking and stuff. And I just slowed down and they cut me off, right? And they sped in front of me. And the truck in front of me had a mattress on it. And the mattress fell off the truck. The dude that had cut me off and got in front of me had to swerve so hard to miss the mattress. He like crashed into the median on the freeway. So, oh wow. That's what happens to certain people that, you know, try to make you do something you don't want to do. And they feel like they have to dominate or take control over that situation or over you. They end up getting messed up because you ain't finna do nothing you don't want to do. Look, and most people know if you hit someone from behind, you're the one to blame. Hmm. You should have yelled out the window. No, I just let them create their own destiny, their own future, whatever, by being who they are. And why are they trying to speed up anyway? Where do they have to be? Why don't they get in the other lane? Right. You have to create it so that someone else doesn't create your reality. That's right. You have to create your own reality or someone else will. How do I not react? Because I create my own cause. If you create your own cause, you won't react, or you'll change the way you react, or you change the way you think. So you create the cause, then you won't have to react to it because you already know the effect. be the cause. And so you don't react, but you just expect the effect. So, for example, if you created your own set of rules and you don't abide by other people's rules, well, the effect for you is going to be different than the effect for them because their rules have different effects than your rules because you created them. So if you're a teacher in a classroom and you say, if you talk without permission, then you have to sit in a corner. Okay, that's your classroom. If you are a student in another person's classroom and the rule for talking is, oh, if you talk, we're going to call your parents. Depending on which classroom you're in and which rules you have to abide by, depends on your action and your reaction. So if I'm in the classroom where if I talk without permission, they're going to call my parents, I'm most likely not going to talk because I don't want them to call my parents. But if I'm in the classroom where I have to go sit in a corner and they're not going to call my parents, I'm going to talk and I'm going to go sit in the corner because I don't care about what they're talking about in class. The rules are different if you are the creator of them. So the teacher created the rules for that class. They're not as harsh as the rules for this class. So therefore, the effects of breaking the rules in this class is not as bad as it is for breaking the rules in another class. You see? So I'm not going to abide by rules of a classroom that I do not care to be in. That's why Kanye said he dropped out of high school, a high school dropout or college dropout. And then he went and got his own thing. So it is what it is. I don't follow rules. Words don't mean the same thing to me as they mean to you. Therefore, they don't have the same effect on me as they do to you. In fact, if anyone tries to double talk me or if anyone tries to code talk me without my own permission, it will backfire upon them. Like that's how serious I create my universe. Like, okay, y'all gonna try to talk crazy to me? Well, may it happen to you by someone else because it's definitely not happening to me because I don't live that way. Okay, y'all need to recognize I don't live that way. That's not my lifestyle. Those aren't my rules. Those words are not my triggers. They are your triggers. And when you try to emulate your rules into another universe, they do not apply, even in science. The law of gravity is not the same on different planets, and neither are words. So remember that. You come over here, this is a different universe. Okay? So people need to respect, in layman's terms, you need to respect people's boundaries and stop and make your own universe instead of trying to infiltrate other people's. Create your own. If you can't create your own, you need to ask yourself why. And that's the question you need to keep asking until you figure it out. When you keep asking me the same question over and over, it's a dead giveaway, baby. May you be homeschooled for the rest of your entire existence. Okay? By someone else that you don't like. You see how it works? Trying to tell y'all. Be free, baby. Be free. You are free to go create your own universe. It reminds me of like people trying to colonize different planets and stuff like that. It's like, dang. Or colonize different lands. You're not happy with your own land? You got to go take over someone else's? Where is your true culture? Do you even have a culture? Or do you take everyone else's culture? You know what I'm saying? Um, this is what will start to happen to you. And it is really happening to some people because they don't have any roots that they can trace back because they've been taking and taking so much. They don't have an origin anymore. So y'all need to figure out how to create an origin and create a universe and create your own instead of trying to control and take everything else. Because once you try to find the source and go back to the source, you're going to see it ain't you. Then you're going to be real mad because then you know who really is in control. You don't need to do that. Be original. That's why they don't want to create their own universe. Create your own universe. Be your own source. Because when you try to trace back and see the origins, you ain't gonna like what you find. And you're gonna realize that you're not in control, which will make you want to dominate even more and hide the truth even more and lie even more. And it keeps going and going and going until somebody tells you, stop. It ain't gonna work. People know it's too late. Okay? Remember to create your own universe. Everyone, not just me, not just you, but everyone needs to be able to do that. The reason I say that is because the universe or the multiverse or the omniverse is infinite. And whatever you create may cross my path. We may say hello in the street, but you're in your universe and I'm in mine. And I can trace my origins and you can retrace yours. But what you can't do or what you shouldn't do is hop onto my universe without being invited and try to control it. That's what you're not going to do. Period. Okay? And there's enough to go around for everyone. Do you and I'll do me. That's how it has to be. If you don't have an origin, go find the closest thing to it. That's the best thing I can tell you. Most people don't like this. They don't want to hear it. Sorry. And I've been on here too long, so I'm getting ready to go. But, your trick talk, slick talk, no permission to come into my universe or whatever, hop on my trail, whatever, go to my school, whatever y'all gonna use to say, whatever you're trying to say, go find your own, create your own, go find the closest thing to it. Because it ain't happening over here. I'd be like, and so many people have fallen victim to people hopping onto their universe and controlling their actual universe that have an actual origin. And now they have a choice. So, as Mariah Carey said, shake it off because the feeling ain't the same. Mm-hmm. I had blue contacts, yeah, but I can take them out and I'll have brown eyes. I could take this wig off and my hair is black. But I'm still in my own universe. I did not take over your space in your body to experience blonde or blue hair, blonde eyes and blue hair. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. I did not try to energetically get into your space to experience what it's like to do that. I could just buy a wig. I could buy contacts and dispose of them or give them away at any time. That doesn't mean I'm in your universe. Mm-hmm. My hair is actually green. Okay, well, I guess depending on what light you're looking under, it could be green. But at the same time, there's a difference. You said not even listen to Mariah. Mm-hmm. Your version of real is your version of real, exactly. Someone here said that I was fraudulent. Well, I said that I'm not. So it's my universe. So therefore, in my universe, my opinion trumps all others. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. Like, that's why I stay unbothered. This is not their universe, it's mine. So that's how it is. That's like someone leaving Earth to go to a different planet and trying to implement the laws of Earth on that planet. Doesn't make sense, right? If there were beings on another planet, they wouldn't know what your laws were. Therefore, how would they abide by them, or how would they agree to them? And how would they accept your opinion as truth if they don't care about your opinion, or they don't accept your opinion, or they don't want your opinion? That's the same thing. So you can't even, the sad thing is that you can't tell anyone anything and expect them to accept it. You can only hope that they do. Okay? And when they don't be mad. So, everyone's opinion is not everyone's fact. Everyone's thought is not everyone's acceptance. Like, I don't accept what people think about me. I don't expect, I don't accept what anyone says about me. If I don't feel that way about myself, then whatever they say is always going to belong to them and will always be their opinion. It will never be mine. You will always keep what you think about me. You will always have an opinion of what you think about me, but I will never accept or take any of those things from you because I don't want them. They're not part of my world or my universe. They are simply part of yours from your perspective, looking at me. That's it. Period. So, if you try to give me something and I dumbing like dumb like be stupid and dumb and take it and say, "Oh, this person gave me this bad opinion of myself. Let me take it into myself and into my universe and make it the truth." Who's stupid? Give me something nice. Oh, here you go. You're the best. Thank you. I take it. Because you know why? Because it benefits me. You're going to give me some crap, I'm going to throw it right where it belongs, right back to you. Everyone needs to do the same thing. Somebody hands you a hand of crap, you going to take it and say thank you? Or you going to throw it back at them? Throw it back, baby. Okay. That takes away their power as well. You can't be powerful or dominant over anyone who does not accept your rank, your level of power, or that you are even powerful. People will try to prove to you that they are powerful. But if they're not powerful in your mind or in your world, they're not powerful. Okay? They're not at all. Like, there's too much that you have to create with than to accept someone else's crap in your life. So, if I accept your crap in my life, it doesn't mean that I believe that it's true. Sometimes it means that you don't have anywhere else to go and your crap is all you know. But that doesn't mean I accept it. It just means that I allow you to be yourself. And that's it. That's another reason why I didn't block trolls, because if I block them, that means I'm scared of their opinions and thoughts of me. I could care less. That's theirs, exactly their ownership of that. I don't own it. It doesn't exist in my world. It is theirs. So that's why I'm getting mad. And you should not allow people to bother you as well with their opinions or their issues or their problems with you. They belong to them, not you. They belong in those people's world, not your world. And once you realize this, you're free, super free. So hopefully, I help a few people become free in their own mind by helping them get to the way of thinking that people were keeping them from, or they were keeping themselves from. So hopefully they will free themselves. hmm Can I share the best way to ignore people's energies who you live with that aren't in line? Go in another room, ignore them. If they have something to say, pretend you're listening and then go back to whatever you were doing. Okay, that's how you got to do it. If they try to push it on you, then use this is when you use words to combat it. I will consider it, I will think about it, and I will get back with you. That means no, no, and no. But it allows them to feel as if you're considering it. It does not mean yes. It means get away from me because I'm not giving you the answer that you want. But I'm going to let you think that I am so you can leave me alone. Okay? And that's how you can do that temporarily. So, wouldn't come off. Right, right. A lot of people are stuck because they can't outthink or outsmart those who try to trap them. And that's exactly what you should be working on instead of trying to be a follower and a non creator. Modern day Harriet Tubman. No, I'm modern day nothing. I'm just giving you, thank you though, but I'm just giving you a different way to think that will help you start to create your own reality. That's why, don't compare me to other people because totally different. Mm-hmm. So I'm a modern day Ashir Star Goddess. There you go. Why people try to trap each other? Because that's all they were taught to do. And that's how they only feel powerful, and they don't know their own power. So that's the only amount of power that they can feel until they realize they have their own. Mm-hmm. I believe that people try to trap each other because, like I said, when they tried to find the origins of their own universe, they couldn't find it. And so they have to find someone else's universe to live through. But like I said, you need to find the closest thing to your origin and see what you can do about that. Or you need to use your mind to create it. Something like that. Mm-hmm. You say you need to find, no, you don't need to find it. You need to create it. If you're looking for something and you get tired of looking for it, just create it. You know? Why can't they find their origins? Because some of them don't have an origin because they didn't create their universe in the first place. Someone else created it and they simply hopped onto it and then they got lost. You know that movie Lost in Space? That's the same thing. If you try to hop on other people's energy, on other people's universe, on other people's thoughts so much, you're going to forget who you are. You're going to become a clone, literally, of whatever you think you're doing. So think of a universe as a person. Okay, I'm a universe. When people try to invade my energy, try to live through me, try to um, put their energies within me to experience this universe, it's the same thing as not creating your own. And then when you do this to so many different people and you try to find your own universe, you can't, because you're not who you are. You're everyone else except for you, because you, instead of spending time on creating yourself, you spent time creating other people with your own energy and you got tricked. Okay? Just saying. So go and create yourself. Create your own universe. Um, when you find your origin, you won't recognize it because you've created a whole nother being that you don't recognize. I've seen this happen so many times. If you watch a lot of people, you'll see them. You know, they'll get so, I mean, you can see it in Hollywood. They're not who they are because they've been told to become this, do that, do this, do that, do that. And then when they try to find themselves again, they don't know who they are anymore. Um, yeah, there's only one Harriet. That's right. Thank you, Infinite Goddess. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I appreciate that. Can you choose to be powerful and magnetic over whether our birth chart? Girl, who created a birth chart? Sprinkle, sprinkle. You know what I'm saying? Who created the birth chart? Whose creation was that? Thank you. if someone creates a birth chart and says ABC is going to happen to you, and you do the opposite, is the birth chart still correct? You see how that works? If someone says, oh, you're going to have a rough time during this date, and you go to the spa and relax, and you have the perfect day, does that mean that the birth chart is wrong, or that you chose to create the day that you wanted to, or the week that you wanted to? And how you view the situation. If something is considered bad to most people, but you don't consider it bad, did you have a bad day? There you go. Oh, you're supposed to have a terrible week. Okay, well, I made money. I lost weight. I look good. I met somebody that was cool. That don't sound terrible to me, you know? Oh, no, but remember when you stubbed your toe and you had a car issue, or, you know, you dropped something and it broke? Oh, well, that happens. You know, everybody stubs their toe. Does that mean it's a bad thing? You know, at least I can feel my toe. Some people can't feel their feet and walk around because they got diabetes and got a wound on their toe and it started turning gangrene. Thank you, I can feel my toe. You see, you think about stuff like that. Oh, but you spilled all this stuff. Oh, somebody cleaned it up. The floor was dirty anyway, needed to be mopped. Good. But your car had trouble. Okay, and shoot, that's when I met my friend waiting in the waiting room, A, B, C, and D at the dealership. I'm glad my car messed up, or else I would have never learned about this and this and that from this person. You see, it ain't bad. It's your perspective and how you create your own world and what you allow to be true. That's it. Mm-hmm. I don't know about that. I don't know nothing about that. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Um. Mhm. Yep. Only thing I do is the only thing I know about is if anyone tries to um, use any type of slick wording on me without my permission, that whatever that they intended for me is going to happen to them by somebody very unwanted. That's all I don't know. So y'all don't stop messing with me. Yes. My world is my world. Your world is your world. Hmm. Told you. They still keep trying. Even though I told them, create your own, darling. Yes, it's a very bad reverse spell that you don't want. I send it back to them, but worse. The opposite of what they're trying to do. May you be sucked up in someone on my 600-pound life. There you go. Um, I will send your energy to the people on the screen on my 600-pound life. Yes, I will. So be careful. Or I'll just make one first comment. Any slick talk under this comment will suffer A, B, C, and D. Always going to be the first comment. And if you don't read it or if you try something, then oh well. I'm just teasing the people that know what I'm talking about. So I don't believe that I can come right back to me. Nope. Because I create my own universe with my own rules. So I don't believe that. What I believe is that you need to create your own universe with your own rules or your own belief system with your own rules that do not apply to me the same way my rules should not apply to you. You see what I'm saying? And so if my rules do not apply to you, it simply means that your rules or your speech or your talk does not apply to me. If you believe what I have written or have said that will happen to you, then now you are now under my belief system, and now you are afraid of the wrath in my universe. And therefore you will experience it for even trying to be in my universe or in my energetic field or in my body. So if you want to avoid that, create your own. Okay? Period. You said that's like the skeleton key. Exactly. Because if you believe, then I'm going to trigger your belief system and you're going to be mad and you're going to have to leave quickly. Yeah. And like I said, I'm getting ready to go because I think a lot of you guys realize and understand, and I'm talking in layman's terms, not that talk. This is the whole thing about the English language or many languages is that regular words are code words for other things to certain people. So here's the thing. Create your own world, create your own universe. Stop trying to hop onto other people's before you get sucked in and have to abide by rules that you've accepted and didn't create. Okay. Sprinkles. Y'all seen WandaVision. Don't be a victim. Don't be a victim. Don't be that lady next door that can't escape. Look, did y'all see the last episode of WandaVision? That lady had to stay. They let everybody else go. But the one that was conscious of it and was trying to challenge Wanda, she made her stay. No, you gonna stay here. You gonna get these results that you so highly believe in. Okay, but don't do that. You said somebody can't escape. Well, that's their problem. She need to create her own universe and be gone. Right? You'll figure it out if you just listen to me. You do what you want when I want. No, you don't. If you did, you wouldn't be trying to get on other people's universe or in their energetic field because you wouldn't need anything from anybody that you couldn't just observe from your perspective. So we already know that's not true. Okay. I'm right and I'm wrong and I know it. No, I don't know it. I'm wrong to you because you're in the wrong universe. You need to hop off and go find another one or go back to yours. Yeah. So Do. Okay, if you're not trying to do anything, then I forgive you. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what you're saying, if you're just being normal in layman's terms, then this shouldn't mean anything to you. Okay. Is prophecy real or just alignment? Prophecy is instructions written to those drones who carry them out. Okay. Fate is something that you create on your own. The future is something that is going to happen because you're on a certain path following someone else's rules. And also making other decisions that you are unconscious of due to these rules that have been given to you. So, do you create your fate? Do you wait for your future? Or do you follow written, pre planned prophecy that is actually instructions for the drones or the followers or the zombies, I call them? Whichever one that you believe in is the one that you will see come into your reality. I don't believe in prophecy because it's already written, which means it's an instruction book. Okay. I don't believe in the future because I don't abide by the rules that create the future. I believe in my fate because I create that along the way as I go. And so that's what I do. And that's what everybody else should be doing. Okay. So many people live by the other stuff. They shouldn't. You know how they said that there's room for everyone? There is. The world is not going to end if you stop following certain moral beliefs or rules. It hadn't ended yet. 100 years ago, certain things that you find normal would have been looked so down upon that you may have been put to death for even thinking about considering it. So, if you think about it, those rules were put in place to control certain things, not because they're right or wrong, but to control certain people and how they think and how much freedom they have within their thoughts. That's it. Now people are saying, I don't care, I'm going to do what I want. And now the universe or the omniverse, or people are discovering multiverses now. Why? Because there is room for everyone. So when you realize this, you'll stop trying to control everyone or trying to latch on to other people's energy and universe. There's enough energy and enough room and enough infinite whatever to create your own universe. If you keep trying to control people, hop onto this, hop onto that, make people follow the rules from a time before you were even born, stuff you don't even really agree with, but oh, my family told me, oh, it's tradition, oh, well, my mama did this. Well, what are you really creating? You're recreating something that was already created, which is a time loop, and you're going to get stuck. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Appreciate that. So create something different, create something new, have fun with it. Stop trying to push old beliefs on people who are creators. Okay? Enough with that. Enough with it. You want to wear pink sparkles tomorrow with orange glitter shoes? Do that. Okay? If you want to wear whatever, do that. Stop trying to dress like people want you to dress. Stop trying to do what people want you to do. That's control. Hmm. Do I think I can create my own afterlife? In my universe, there is no afterlife. The whole thing is the same thing. Okay? The afterlife, the current life, and the prior, and the life before you are here is the same life. The same thing. Okay? That's why you have a memory. Think about how people experience their childhood, their past life. Why do people hate you when you do what you want? Because they can't control you, or they can't get of out up under someone else's control to be free as you are. Thank you, Gina Sprinkle Sprinkle. That's why they don't like it, because they can't do it. So your afterlife, your current life, and your past life are all the same. Why? Because when I remember my childhood, okay, I'm experiencing that in my mind right now. All is mind. I'm a child again, mentally, for that brief moment. I had a vision of a past life. Okay, it's sort of like a memory, but it's a vision of a past life. Details. Um, so therefore, I'm experiencing all of those lives simultaneously at the same time. So there is none. It's all at the same time. Whether I choose to tap into them or not, or remember them, or close my eyes and reimagine them, is up to me, because I'm the creator. That's how you have to think. If you think any other way, someone's controlling you. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Is deja vu present life experience? Deja vu to me would definitely be that you're in a time loop and you need to free yourself. I haven't had deja vu in a long time because I'm mentally free. You keep having deja vu, you're in a time loop, which means you're living under someone else's rules that keep you looping instead of spiraling. There's a difference between a circle and a spiral. You're in a circle, I'm in a spiral. Become a spiral. Spring. It's springtime, it's time to spring. Hmm. You know, the winter is over. Now you're coming back to life, back to reality. Spring. Don't circle. It ain't the circle of life. It's spring. Hmm. So, you know how people say, oh, we have to break our generational curse. And then if you watch Lion King and they sing the circle of life and the same thing happens, and you know, then they have, at the end, they hold up the other baby and start all over and do the same thing again, idolizing this and that. You know what? They should have just went off like they did and created their own lives. Hakuna Matata. Hmm. But instead, they were sucked back into it. See, they got sucked back in to repeat the same thing or something similar. So, depending on what you want your life to be like, that's what you're going to do. There's no such thing as death then. Is there such a thing as birth? Think about that. Did you remember being born? Did you remember dying prior to being born? Do you remember your time in the womb? Do you experience that mentally? Where do you go when your physical body is no longer here? Where does that's your choice. Where does your energy go when this body goes away? That's your choice. Mm-hmm. So my answer, this is the cool part though. My answer can be my answer, but your answer can be something totally different. And we're both going to be correct in our own worlds. You see? So if you say, oh well, when you die, your energy goes into a tree. In your universe, that could be true. If I say, well, when my physical body dies, it goes into a cloud, that could be true. Either way, if we're going to be reborn through another physical body, our energy is still somewhere that it can come back from. So, does it matter where you store your energy momentarily? Probably not. So, whatever you choose is what is in your universe. Now, see, if we sit here and argue all day and say, my energy goes into a tree, it goes into the clouds, we're going to be here all day. We're going to be here all day and all night. But either way, wherever you choose to store your energy, it doesn't matter because it's your choice. That's how we have to think. We can't try to argue with each other when we live in two totally different universes. What we can agree on is that we coming back. You see? So let's focus on that. And that's how you can stop trying to take from each other, trying to overpower other people, trying to be right versus someone else being wrong, trying to debate people. What do you agree with? What do you have in common? How are your universes more alike than they are different? And if they're more alike than they are different, why do you want to hop on to this universe when yours is very similar? And the things that you don't find similar, you totally disagree with. So why would you come here? That's what we need to remember. That's what we need to think about. See, okay, Miss MC, exactly. We need to realize what we have in common rather than what we don't have in common, and that way we don't need to try to take anything or say anything bad about anybody because we have more in common than we don't. Therefore, there's nothing that you need from me, nor anything that I should need from you without asking your permissions, right? Or being upset with you for no reason at all, or you saying something to me that I find offensive at all, because we have more in common than we do have differences. So, they'll be like, I'm going to buy a new car, but you're going to buy a very similar car to the one you already have. Why even buy a new car? Don't you want something different? That was me. I was about to buy almost the same type of car, exact same type of car, but like the newer model. I'm like, no, let me experience something totally different. Let me go get something else that I've never had before, that is totally different from what I'm doing now. Not the same. Like, what would be the point? I might as well keep the old car. So if I change up, it's going to be something drastic. I'm not going to go to something similar. Like, what the heck? If I'm going to hop on somebody's energy or hop in someone's universe, it's going to be a totally, totally different universe. Like, oh, we're going to have like some stuff going on over here that I have never seen before. And it's not going to be because I want to take over your universe or control your universe. It may just be because I want to see how different your universe is compared to mine. Or maybe I don't. Or maybe I do. But at the same time, you're going to have to invite me because I'm not coming uninvited. There we go. So that's how we got to do it. All right, y'all. I'm going to see y'all later. Thank y'all, everybody who donated. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all, everybody who is, being kind and considerate. Y'all asked some good questions, and I'm glad that I could um, speak openly and honestly with you guys. You said it's not belief, it's universal law, but who created universal law? And also, alchemy and transmutation can also bend universal law. So you also have to think about that too. Nothing, everything has a loophole. Just know that. Everything has a loophole for you to become a creator when you realize your power. If you don't have a loophole, it's because you haven't created one. So create one. Think about law. Think about the law. Think about lawyers. They create loopholes all the time. They find one when there wasn't there, or they create one, or they change the law. So what you gonna do? Not everything is set in stone. It can be changed, it can be recreated, or it can be originally created. Don't ever think something is set in stone because it's not. Unless it's a dot this small before the Big Bang in this particular universe, then there's loopholes. Mm-hmm. You said dude look like a lady. Well, this dude looks better than you. That's all I can say. Okay. No matter what you say, I'm still going to be me, and I'm still going to accept me for who I am. And I will never, ever take the opinions of others as anything but what they own as their own opinion. So, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever you feel about me, whatever you believe about me, is simply yours and your own universe. And you have to live with that. I don't. I live with whatever I choose to and what I choose to create. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that's okay in your universe and you like it. Because that's simply where it belongs with you. If you like it, wonderful. If you that's how you choose to express or how you choose to view or envision me, wonderful. Whatever makes you happy and whatever you like to create over there is totally up to you, and there's nothing I can do about that because I respect, in layman's terms, I respect your opinion to stay your opinion. Mm-hmm. Sure, how did you develop such confidence in your belief system? Because I believe in me and I believe in myself. And when you do that, that's what happens. That's what you do. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Because when you bring other people in, you bring in their insecurities, you bring in their opinions, and you bring in all the stuff that they truly think about you. And then guess what? It becomes your thoughts. So when you believe in yourself, none of that manifests, none of that matters. So doing, stop trying to believe in other people and believe in yourself. That's how it happens. Everyone wants to see what it's like to be a confident person, but then they go and believe in someone else. That works backwards. You're supposed to believe in yourself, because once you believe in someone else, all your insecurities then manifest within you, even though you believe that you're experiencing the confidence of someone else. You're not, because you still have to those insecurities. So when that person is no longer, around you, or giving you any type of, you know, energy or inspiration, then what do you have? You still got you. You didn't improve. Nothing happened. You're still the same. So what you need to do is believe in yourself, and no one else but you. Because if you don't believe in you, nobody else will see you as you see yourself. They won't. They will not see you as you see yourself. But if you believe in yourself, they have to see it, because there's nobody else to see. That's what you got to know. You sound like me, I sound like you. Well, then that's such a coincidence. Hmm. A lot of people sound like Michael Jackson too, but they're not Michael Jackson. Hmm. Sadly, but true. Do you think utilizing dark energy to manifest is a good way to create your own reality origin? Depends on what your definition of dark energy is. Are you using it in code? Are you using it in layman's terms, scientific terms? How are you thinking about dark energy? What's vibrating from you when you say that word? Because that's what really matters. Some people think certain words mean certain things, and that's how they vibrate, and that's how what they will create from. So depends on what you feel that the words dark energy really mean to you. So to me, and I explain it in my book, to me, dark energy is what the cosmos are created from, and what you can use to create and materialize things into your own reality, into your own universe. So it's simply a tool that is used for creation, and creating originally what you want to see, not recreating, not living through someone else's manifestation, dream, or universe, but creating your own. So that's what it means to me. If you feel like it means something else, then that's what you're going to create from. So if you read my book and what I define it as, then that's how I use it. Hmm. So that's what the words are very important in how you feel about them and how you vibrate when you think about them or say them. Just like if you're, how they have what I call those nice, nasty insults. You can give someone a compliment, but at the same time, it's an insult because of how you vibrated and how you thought when you spoke it. You see? You know how the Southern ladies say, "Oh, bless your heart." They're not really trying to bless your heart. They saying "F you." You understand? So it's the same thing. You said, did I ever do shadow work? Light work is shadow work. I know y'all, I said I was going, but light work is shadow work. Why separate it when you could do it all at the same time? Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right, then. Y'all have a good evening. I'm going now. If you have any issues with what I'm saying, then that's totally up to you. And I don't, you know, argue or debate other people, because what you believe is what you believe, and what I believe is what I believe, and there's no debate. It just is what you choose, and it's what I choose. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So make sure you just be happy with that, and don't try to force what you believe on others, and don't allow others to force what they believe onto you. And everybody should be able to believe whatever they choose to believe. Period. If you feel like you have the need or desire to force your beliefs on other people, it's because you don't have your own power. Instead of wasting your time doing that, you should figure out how to get your own power. Or you already have it, but you need to realize how to use it. That's it. Okay. So I'll see y'all later.